Hi, everyone.
Today it is August 4th, 2020, and it's very exciting because with the Abraham Now, they've really flowed forward into this format, very similar to the live workshops, where it's now 2 hours on Saturdays. Very similar, in fact, to the live presentations that they were doing uh, prior to the pandemic and all this lovely jazz. And it's great because there's a lot there. There's a lot to expand upon, a lot to dive into, so to speak. Um, I think, Jen, one of the things I really wanted to dive into, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
see, even
Yeah.
sounds funny saying it because like I'm excited, but there's no motivated energy behind it. So,
Mhm.
um, delighting diving into, I think, was this continuous thread of in the recording of a
Right.
soothing energy, of a soothing nature, of um, getting to see examples of people in different experiences in their life, and sharing that no matter how long you've been focused on what you don't like, or the momentum of that you can always flow forward. But you flow forward by being soothing. You flow forward by acknowledging what you're feeling as you're feeling it, um, not by pushing, not by reprimanding.
Yeah. Oh, and I love that. And I apologize. I'm still looking down, just sending out a few little wonderful notifications and such. But it really is. It's about us feeling and flowing. It's not about how hard we try, or if we prove something, or if we're standing for something, or we're asserting something. It's really about us being who we are in a space of comfortability and coming to align with the understanding that when we are comfortably who we are in our most influential place because we're really feeling the alignment of source energy. We are so blessed, each and every one of us, so divinely guided. The moment we ask for something, the vibrational components are immediately created so that can come about in our physical reality. But we're also so free that we have the choice to really either line ourselves up with that which we've asked for by flowing into a better feeling space, or by resisting it, coming up with the reasons why it can't happen or why it should be hard, or creating a lot of effort and work and exertion from a space that's outside of that alignment. And it really is us coming into that space of relaxing and feeling the beautiful, divinely guided inspiration flowing to us and through us. That opens us up. It's that beautiful space of feeling so worthy, so loved, so blessed, so the extension of source energy that we are. So how what a wonderful experience it is to be expanding the universe from our unique perspective, and in that space recognizing that every other person, animal, plant, cell, particle in the universe is doing the same. And none of us are in competition with any of us. We're in beautiful cooperation. But sometimes, things may present themselves from a physical perspective of seeming different than that. But when we really come into alignment with who we are, we know the truth of it. We can feel it. And we feel such a strong love and such a beautiful belief in our fellow human beings, and the beautiful co-inhabitants of this universe. And it's such a wonderful, a divine thing to come into. But I love what you said so much, Dave, and I'd love to expand from this perspective because, the space that I'm speaking from may seem very far from where you're at. And, it doesn't matter where you start from, but you have to be okay with where you're at, that beautiful starting place. I shared an example yesterday in class, and actually a couple of times, and referencing a GPS. Right. So, and for those of you that don't know, I live in Fargo, North Dakota. But, and if I want to go to New York, right? And I have my GPS needs to know where I'm starting from. But if I don't want to be honest about the fact that I'm in Fargo, so you could say, I don't want to be honest about how I feel. I want to be from Denver. So I override my GPS and I tell my GPS that I'm in Denver and direct me from Denver to New York, right? It's going to be not a very effective ride. The directions are not going to be accurate, and I'm not going to really be able to navigate myself to New York accurately. So I'd love your expansions on that, Dave. Oh, can you hear me, Dave? Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Little whatever. No, I love that, Jen, because it's the understanding of being okay with where you're at, right? And I really like your GPS example in that because not only if you were going, and it's funny because I live in Denver, right? But if I was to say,
Yeah.
well, I don't really live in Denver. I live in Vegas. The inaccuracies of the guidance would be so obvious because I'd be like, well, wait a minute, like I I turned left off of Broadway Strip Avenue. I don't know what I'm just making stuff up. Um, and yet there's all these plants and trees and stuff like it's it's basically like you said. It's not to your inner guidance. It's ignoring our feelings. It's um, you know even maybe not even ignoring, but like discrediting. Like, oh, I don't really feel like that. That's not that's all that's all my imagination. That's all in my head. And how that creates
Yeah.
it's just a rough ride, man. A rough journey.
Yeah. So, Dave, I'm having a little trouble kind of hearing you. Maybe you want to pop out and come back in. Then I'll just share because the connection's a little bit askew. Sound good? Yeah. I don't know. We've got a couple viewers watching. I don't know if it's clear or if it's, yeah. Okay. I'll see you back in just a moment. So, yeah, and I love what we're sharing here because, what I want to say to you is wherever you're at, even if you're not pleased with where you're at, or you're a little embarrassed about where you're at, or you're feeling discouraged about where you're at, it's okay. Just having that simple acknowledgement will allow you to immediately start moving forward. And I just encourage you to be gentle and kind and loving and accepting of where you're at, because it truly opens you up to where you want to go. So, and very beautiful. And welcome back, Dave. Yeah, so great. And yeah, because our guidance is meant for us. And it's, the feelings that we perceive and this life experience is truly for us. We've said it before in some other broadcasts, but it is the understanding. And, and you may have to kind of feel your way through this a little bit, but it's really knowing we're the only ones that can feel our feelings. Right? We're the only ones that can shift our energy. We're the only ones that see this beautiful divine universe or whatever perception you're looking from in the way that we perceive it. And, to give everybody else a break in that and know that they can't really see it the way we see it or feel it the way we feel it. And also to be honest with ourselves. I can't feel what you're feeling, Dave. I love, value, and appreciate you above, just in so many ways. You are such a divine extension of source energy, so magnificent, but I still can't get in there and move your energy around. And I still can't feel your feelings. And I still can't be your guidance for you, but I can hold you in a high space, right? I can feel you in your vortex. I can see the best in you, and I can be deliberate in that. And not only in you, but in the others, that I, come in contact with in my life experience. And that's what this is really about, us coming into true alignment with our feelings and our guidance, and recognizing everybody else is doing the same. Mhm. Yeah. Expansions?
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah, much better.
I agree. Ditto. And I think the awareness of knowing that nobody can move our energy but us, it's so free. You and I are very good friends, but it's nice to know that this is with relationships with like significant others. This is with family members. This is with maybe your business partners or clients or different things, different aspects. Strangers on the street. None of the president. None of these people can move our energy. Only we can move our energy, and it's really freeing to know that. But I feel more importantly, it's it's uh, it's really freeing in doing that, and having that awareness, in going, oh yeah, okay, yeah, they feel differently than I do about this. That's okay. That's
Mhm.
okay. And it's not getting tied into these things of what's good and what's bad, what's right and what's wrong, what's aligned and what's misaligned. It's just all matters of different perspectives, and it's about understanding like two people can see the same exact thing, and from both point of views, they're right. I love it how it ties into that one Abraham we watched, Jen, where Esther was saying, you know, I Abraham, I want you to help me understand who's lying. I want you to really help me understand who's lying. And Abraham had said to Esther, because she really liked watching this court show, she said, a better question is, you tell us which one you think is telling the truth. And I
Mhm.
really like that because in that in that particular watching of that show, Esther was a bit confused for a minute and then was kind of like, well, they both feel that they're telling the truth.
Mhm.
And Abraham said, that's the point. From everyone's perspective is their own beautiful truth. And it was like, oh, yeah, because that's the kind of the playful joke about it all, right? Like, okay, it's like, Jen, I know you love cats, but if someone was to come to you and say, no, you don't, you know, you would have to go, well, okay, that's your opinion, but you know what I mean. But there would also be no push energy on it. There would be no asserting of, because sometimes people get into this mode too when it comes to positive vibrations of, well, I will show you my love of cats with force. Sounds hilarious, but this is
Right.
how people handle certain aspects of their life, whether it's abundance or their own high vibration or their own worthiness.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful because in this last broadcast, it was really pointed out like there's emotions behind these words, and when you can pinpoint these emotions, then you can allow yourself to acknowledge these emotions so that way you can flow forward instead of thinking that, yeah, but I've been doing this for 6 years. It's okay. That's okay. Be okay with where you're at so that way you can flow forward.
Yeah. Oh, and I love that you said that. And because it is our energy, and it's our energy to shift, it's our energy to focus, right? It's our energy to move. And take pride in moving your energy. Be okay with where you're at, because then you can get your accurate navigation. And, in that space, you can get absolutely anywhere your heart desires. If the desire has been inspired within you, you can come into a vibrational place of alignment with it, right? You're willing to do the vibrational work to line yourself up with it. You can receive the physical evidence, the manifestation. But the joy isn't just in receiving that physical evidence or the manifestation. It's the joy of moving your energy, right? Nobody else can move it for you. Now, I'm going to offer some clarifications here because we can be influential for one another. Absolutely. And, we're in our highest grade of greatest space of influence when we are feeling and flowing in our alignment, meaning we're feeling our connection to our source energy, our inner being, right? We are our most influential then. But you can also motivate people. And this might be a good time to clarify the difference between the two words, between the word inspiration and the word motivation. So when you're motivating somebody, it's something outside of you, right? Do this quick. There's only this many left. Buy this now. It's only on sale today. Hurry up. You're going to miss out. This is your one opportunity. These things, right? They're motivating you, saying, do it, right? In whatever way, whether it's nice or not, but they're motivating you, right? They're coming from outside of you. But then there is this thing which this is where your true guidance from, your inspiration, right? This means you specifically, from your point of where you are, ask. Your vibrational guidance is given. You tune in to who you really are. We encourage this in a few different ways. One, through 15 minutes a day of meditation, so you know that connection. Two, appreciation. Three, by getting out ahead of it, meaning being deliberate as you're flowing into the segments of your day. And then four, by another process we talked about a bit, which is so powerful, and we'll elaborate on it more in an upcoming class that we'll have, around focus wheels, which helps you get your energy in alignment, focused in the direction that you desire. And in doing that, you feel your inspiration. You feel your own guidance, your own GPS, right? Versus the hurry up. I have a way for you to lose this weight. This is the only way kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying that any and all or some of those things can't be cooperative components. Remember, we're all in this beautiful life experience together. So my intention is not to push against anything or anyone's way of doing anything. My intention is just to say, from your space of guidance, you may be guided to do something or purchase a product or do a certain workout routine or make a certain business investment, but do it from your own guidance, right? And how do you know if it's from your own guidance? Well, because it'll feel good. It'll feel easy, right? And that's a for sure indicator. If something in your life feels very complicated, if it feels very difficult, if it feels very cumbersome, this means it's not ready yet. Because when things come to you through your own guidance, they feel easy. They feel as if they're the next logical step. They feel natural in that space. Now, that doesn't mean boring. That doesn't mean safe. They just feel good. Like, ooh, I really want to go for a walk right now. I really want to. And maybe you'll bump into somebody, or you'll see something that inspires you, or you'll, be in such a feel-good space. You'll get a great idea, whatever it is, right? But it just feels so good to you. Key. It feels so good to you. All the things that you've asked for are in a feel-good vibration, right? Nothing you've asked for, right? Even if you think it's something different than that, nothing that you've asked for that's come from your inspiration, from who you really are, is going to say, I want this thing. I want this new house because it's going to stress me out. I am going to go out of my mind crazy with worry because I won't want anybody to walk on my new carpet, and I'll have to keep it perfectly clean. Right? Right? No. when you that vortex version of that maybe new home or something you want, it's like because it feels so good. You can see the view out into your backyard, and there's a stream flowing in the distance, and the spacious rooms and how you decorate it, and the colors and the flow, and oh, and the family gatherings you have, and the friends you can invite over, and the barbecues, right? You feel that. You feel those experiences. And so it's knowing, right? So it's our feelings that guide us in all of that. So the first thing we do, right, always, and when I meet somebody new, and Dave, I know you're meeting new people all the time. Now, sometimes you're, deliberate. Sometimes they're, just people like that, or they come in your car because you do some Lyft driving, right? Or whatever, right? Could be somebody you're just walking across. But if you have that intention, right? Just want I just want to leave them better than I found them, or I just want to enjoy them, or I just want to feel good myself. I want to feel good in myself, right? You'll be guided in all of these things, and then you won't mind if they're having a grumbly day. But more important, when you're really stable in your vibration, even if they're having a grumbly day, they probably won't be able to share it with you. They might say something like, I was kind of having a rotten day, but I'd just rather talk about that rainbow over there, right? They'll just sort of distract themselves, or they'll change focus, because the law of attraction is like that. And they were probably asking for some relief. And there you are, relief for them, a better feeling for them. Um, it's a wonderful thing how we're all drawn together as cooperative components for one another. And recognizing the only thing we really need to focus on is how we're feeling, and the direction as we're flowing forward, right? We can be deliberate, and and how we want to go into each segment and all these things, but gentle and easy about it as well. And knowing that at the base of all of it, right, that foundation on which we stand so freely, we want to feel good. And because we want to feel good, we'll sift and sort and shift our focus to those things that feel better to us. Yeah. Expansions on that, Dave?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think what's so cool about it too is it just ties into what we were talking about, which is just still being gentle with yourself. Like being the power of being able to acknowledge what you feel when you feel it is by far one of the most freeing experiences. It just is.
Mhm.
And it's about understanding that someone else's vibration is not your own, and you don't have to allow your vibration to be theirs. It's like, oh, we can just all wonderfully cohabitate here together beautifully. Yeah, you can. Um, but there has to be an acknowledgement of how you feel, and there has to be that beautiful, deliberate focus. I think a big thing about this too, Jen, is, and we taught a whole class about this, a 6-week class, in fact, in Best Life. You know, uh, Getting into the flow, right? Getting into the vortex. It's this understanding of, um, or getting out ahead of it, rather. Excuse me. Um, and we have this weekly ongoing class to incorporate it, because it is this continuous journey. There is this idea, and it's interesting, where people think, well, once I feel my alignment, I'm good. I'm done. All done. Nothing else to do. Gonna just see how it all goes.
Mhm.
Man, it's pretty passive. And
And it's not how it works.
well, when you have that sort of intention, and it's not to say that that's a good intention or bad intention, but when you do have that intention, and I can say this from such certainty, you're basically saying, universe, show me a little of all of it. But when you can deliberately focus, guys, and be in that space of going, I'm delighting in this next customer, or I'm delighting in this next experience, or oh, it feels so good to just know that the universe is always responding to my vibration. See, these are very powerful intentions, but they're also incredibly deliberate. They're very much in a space of um, shedding the light on what I'm wanting, shedding the light on what I'm desiring, never going, and if something pops up that pisses me off, whatever. No, because I'm not highlighting that. I'm not shining the light on that. I'm not putting any attention and focus on that. The attention and focus is always on what feels good and what is it that I am desiring.
Hmm. Yeah. I love what you expanded into there. It's really beautiful because it's understanding that all of our power is in the moment, right? This moment and this moment. And somebody had posed the question to Abraham um, recently: how do I create vitality? Which means lasting youthfulness, right? This, right? And Abraham said, well, you can't create that, so to speak, like in just one fell swoop, right? It's not like that. It's not like, how do I create abundance? Well, I just one time and I create it. It's not like that. You create it moment by moment by moment. So how do you create a happy life? One happy moment after to the next happy moment to the next happy moment. How do you create an abundant life? By feeling and flowing with the abundance you feel in this moment and in the next moment and in the next moment and in the next moment. How do you create a happy, healthy body? By appreciating and loving and your body in this moment and the next moment and the next moment, right? And you might say, well, that seems like a lot of work, right? But it's really, it's not. It's, and it kind of sounds like it, like, okay, I need to have a list of all these things that I need to be doing every single moment. But you can really make it so much simpler by just focusing on how you feel, because your inner being is a cooperative component to you. So, and here's what I'm encouraging you to do: to line up with your inner being and utilize the beautiful focus of your inner being. When you've asked for something, your inner being holds unwavering focus upon it. It gives it to you vibrationally and holds unwavering focus upon it, and it shines it, your path to it in every moment, continually recalibrating to match the matching components of where you're at in your life. So it's this magnificent, beyond humanly comprehensible uh, thing that's going on, where it's just continued, this vortex, right? That's where your inner being is holding all that you've asked, and it's consistently sifting and sorting and recalibrating and bringing in cooperative components and making it more magnificent and calling you to it and calling you to it and calling you to it and calling you to it. So all you have to do is, consistently uh, feel how you feel and be tuning yourself to feeling good, right? And being honest. Now, how can you get to feeling good? If you're feeling kind of down in the dumps and you go, no, 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 I'm feeling good. Well, that's not it. You can't get from I'm feeling down in the dumps and then just fake it and say, no, I'm going to fake it till I make it. No, that's not it. It's knowing, okay, I'm feeling kind of down in the dumps. That's okay. There's been some different things that have happened. But I know everything in my life is moving forward. I know every moment is brand new. I know that there are so many things in my life to appreciate. Let me take some moments and ponder those things. Yeah, that's feeling better. That's feeling better. I love who I am. I love this life experience, right? And you'll feel your energy rise. But it isn't because you pretended you weren't feeling kind of down in the dumps. It's because you acknowledged where you were at, but then you didn't do this. You didn't go, hey, ring, 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 Dave, guess what? I am down in the dumps. Let me tell you how rotten it's been. It's been horrible. This happened and that happened. No, because that just makes it worse, right? Makes it go right in that direction, right? But here's how awesome Dave is. Because say Dave is in his alignment and I'm not. I'm down in the dumps. And I call up Dave and I am telling him my story of woe. But here's Dave on the other line going, I'm feeling so good. Jen is she's awesome. And he's feeling the vortex version of me. He knows Jen's on her path. She's feeling her way forward. She's got this. Oh, right. And he's just holding that vortex for, he's not asserting it. He's just holding it. He knows who I really am. And guess what happens? All of a sudden, I'm kind of feeling like, Dave, it's really not that big a deal. I just thought of something kind of funny. Oh, yeah. And I sort of flow forward, right? Because I can't hold that vibration of feeling whatever, not in a good space, when somebody else is holding the vortex version of me in such a pure, loving space. Right? It's impossible. Or it now,
Yeah.
say I didn't want to. Now Dave can't move my energy. And say I didn't want to move my energy. Well, I'd be like, Dave, I gotta go. Right? And I would just go off and find somebody else to complain to if I really wanted to keep going in my negative momentum. But that's not what I would want to do. But I'm just saying, because we're free, right? We are the ones that move our energy. But we also, when we're feeling and flowing in our alignment, we are beautiful cooperative components. And most likely I would know that. So if I was feeling off and I called Dave, I would know it, because I would know that I'm going to feel so much better. And this is what we can do when we're solidly, stably feeling and flowing in our alignment. Now, does that mean that Dave never has a day when he's feeling a little contrast every now and again? No, he does. But he also knows how to get himself back in alignment. And guess what? If Dave was feeling "Grr," and I was calling him, he probably wouldn't answer his phone. He'd probably take those couple minutes and get himself back in alignment and then call me back and go, hey, Jen, I missed your call earlier. What's up? When he was feeling better. These are just fine-tuned things that we can do. Yeah. Expansions?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Cool. The expansion that I had was, and it's also ties in with the knowingness that, and I've just come to this myself, which is, and when everyone comes to this knowingness, it will make this, everything we're talking about, that much smoother, which is knowing that anytime there's any contrast that I'm experiencing, the vibrational desire of what I want is already created. So just like you're saying, Jen, even if you were to call me in this, lovely fictitious example
Yeah.
of you calling to vent, I would
Yeah.
also be holding the space and going, this is so good, because I know that the fact that Jen is experiencing the contrast right now, what she's desired has already been created. And I know for a fact, with 100% certainty, that when she gets into a space of feeling just even slightly bit better, ooh, baby, she's right in the receiving mode for this desire that she's been asking for.
What better friend could you have than that?
Right.
It's like source right here going, come this way. We've got you. Holding the space for you. We've said those words before. I'm holding the space for you. Here it is. I believe in you. You've got this. Right? Instead of going, here's what's not so helpful. Jen, what's wrong? Tell me all about it. How bad was it? Was it really bad? Was it horrible? Right? Not helpful. Now, you could, there, it isn't like you would just pretend, la, 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 I can't hear you. Right? But but it's like being in a space of compassion, not pity, not worry, not like, oh, I'm interested in what's wrong, but more like, you've got this. It's okay, Jen. We all have moments like this. Yeah. Right? Can you feel, but it's going to be okay, right? It would be maybe a little bit of soothing, or it just, it's just some nice energy, right? Some really stable energy. This is what we can do for ourselves, right? We can do this just for ourselves. If we start to, once in a while, maybe you get a little worrisome thought that comes in. Oh, feeling a little worrisome thought. That's, yeah, I kind of made a decision. I'm not going to focus on things that don't feel good. It doesn't really feel good. But it's good that I know this. It is good that I know this. And I really have come to see so much evidence in my life. Things are always working out for me. Yeah. And I know that when I just relax and ease into things, oh, right? And just let your energy shift just a little bit. You can do this for yourself. You can do this for others. You can do this without even speaking to somebody. Yeah, you can write some beautiful appreciation about somebody and just say, I just love them. I appreciate them. These are the wonderful things about them. I love that they're on their path. I love that they're feeling their way forward. I love who they really are. I love that I get to share in this life experience with them. Yeah, right? And just gentle, loving, not making up things. You don't write down, they're a multi-billionaire. They're, or try and assert something, because that's not helpful. Granting that beingness. This life experience is about, really feeling the energy and moving it from where it is to where you want it to be, to a more desired space, and being easy about it. And you might say, well, this seems like this is a kind of a slow, boring process. But guess what? You got to start where you're at. And in the beginning, yeah, that's where it is. Now, when you get a little more proficient with it, well, you can maybe move a little faster. But if you start out and you don't even know how to move energy and you go, I'm just gonna, you know, just yell, my life is amazing, and I'm gonna jump up and down 25 times, and that's gonna change it. Really? Probably not. Might get your blood pumping, might change your perspective for a moment or two a little bit, but it's not really going to move your energy in a real sustainable way, right? So you got to just begin with where you're at. You got to get used to your energy and comfortable with it, and come into a space of being gentle and loving with yourself and everyone else. So good.
Yeah. Um, and I think another thing that ties in with it too, Jen, is um, recognizing people are where they are. It made me think of a great story that happened to me. I say it like it's a tale. It was not a tale. It was something that really happened to me. But had this girl, very delightful, very worried, very fun. I could see her through the eyes of Source. She was experiencing some contrast. And at one point, I felt so guided during my drive with her to go, you know, I feel very inspired to say this. And I actually said those exact words. I said, I want to let you know that the fact that you started up your own startup is really inspiring. And I want you to know that you're doing better than you're giving yourself credit for. So just something to consider.
Those are really great words.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Those are
Yeah.
really soothing words. Take those in. Did you hear those? Saying something like that is much more aligning for somebody than going, lady, you are knocking it out of the park and you are just excellent, and right, and telling them and asserting at them when they can't even, when they're so beating up on themselves and worried, right? You gotta soothe that energy a little bit, right? Just be gentle with that energy, because she could feel that. She could definitely feel that. It was like, oh, yeah, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I can ease up just a little bit, right? Notice I didn't say maybe I'll never worry again, because that's, if she's used to worrying, if she's been stressed out of her mind for months, right? Be easy about it, right? Be gentle, be loving. She's on her path. She's doing great, you know. But those are brilliant words. Those are really soothing words, and I love that you shared that example. That's excellent.
Thanks, Jen. I think
Yeah.
another thing I want to add too was, it's fun because, um, we get to practice, and I will use the word practice, but it's a delightful practice of feeling and flowing in our alignment too when you're around these different vibrations. Because earlier in the ride, uh, there was a sense of a motivated energy behind her too, because she had asked what I did, and I told her about Best Life, I told her about Lift, I told her about musical theater, and very motivatedly. She's like, "Oh, and with the pandemic and everything going on, I bet you're gonna just audition for so many roles, and you're gonna go after your dreams." And very calmly, I'm like, you know, if that was still my passion, I would absolutely, But I really love what I'm doing right now. Does that mean that won't change in the future? I don't know. It might, but it feels good to be flowing and with what feels good to me now, right here in this moment. And it was so broad and so general that she felt that. She's like, "Well, that seems like a really fun way to live." And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "You must get a lot of fun customers because of that." I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I
I
really do."
I love that, right? Because it's knowing when something is coming from your inspiration, it's going to feel good. It's going to feel right. And cooperative components will present themselves, right? You won't have to go about searching and scouring and weighing the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses and serving hundreds of people, right? None of those things will be necessary. Now, I'm not saying if you enjoy doing whatever, like, but just take it for what it is, right? You'll feel the guidance. It'll be like, oh, yeah, I was thinking maybe, yeah, that'd be kind of fun to do that or whatever, or it's easy if it feels like it's not from your space of alignment to have an answer like you did, yeah, I don't know. Not really feeling that right now, but I'm always open for things that feel good, right? Or I'm always open for more, right? And it's being easy about things. Sometimes people get in such a rush, or they're pushing on themselves. They're motivating themselves. And I loved in the last broadcast, at the end of the broadcast, because a lot of it was around these kinds of scenarios where people had pushed themselves, they were beating up on themselves, they weren't being honest about where they were at, a lot of different things. So, Abraham, in all of those different scenarios, and those are a lot of different perspectives. Some were around work, and some was around, their abundance level, and some were around a relationship. So it could be any of those things. But then they took it to a broader space, and they said, this pandemic was a global asking, because the question was posed, Abraham, did this pandemic become because I was wanting a break? And Abraham said, yes, you and so many others, right? Wanting a time to take a little pause, wanting a time to come into your own energy, to have a different perspective, and to be easy about this too. This is opening up to something where you'll see it not returning to what it used to be. It's flowing forward into something so much better. But if your focus is on the worried aspects about this could be worse, this could be bad, it's not going to feel better for you. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be better. So we just encourage you from your perspective to line up with the things that feel good to you. Get comfortable feeling good. Get comfortable feeling your feelings with where they're really at. And if you're feeling discouraged, well, acknowledge that. And then gently generalize and shift it to a little softer place. It's another word. Somebody else I talked to yesterday said a little sweeter place, right? A little kinder place, a little easier place, right? Just be gentle with this, because it's your energy to move. Now, on these Facebook Lives, it's our desire for you to feel your inspiration, right? So maybe like, I could be a little nicer to myself. Yeah, that's right. I could, maybe appreciate my life a little more, or my kids, or my family, or the sky, or the sunset, or whatever, my pillow. You could find those things, but it's not ever to say, here's what you must do, because there is no must. There's no must in this universe. There's only the desires that you choose and your desire to align with them or not, right? You're free, right? And so we just, we do these to help you go, I can feel a little better. I did come to this life experience for the feel goodness of it, for the joy of it. Yeah, because it's really what it's all about. And there's nothing to prove here, but in the process of enjoying your life, you're going to discover so many new things. You are just going to be amazed with all of it and delighted in all of it. But it's not because you're proving something, it's because you're enjoying it. It's because it feels so good to you, and whatever the desires of your heart are. You could be a healthcare person, right? A nurse or a doctor or a scientist associated with that. And you are lining up with these wonderful, brilliant things. So fun. Not because you pity those poor people. I feel so bad for them. Those poor people. No, you're not going to find the solution there. You're going to find it in your feel good place because this is fun, because this feels good, because I love doing this. That's your space. And that's why we talk about all the things we talk about. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It ties into, and I'll say this as we're flowing forward into wrapping up, Jen, which is acknowledging is drastically different than tolerating.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes people go, well, it's only a little bit of discomfort, or I only feel a little bit annoyed. It's not that bad. It'll get bigger. But when you can just beautifully acknowledge the dissatisfaction, the discomfort, the we'll say the vibrations that you're not wanting in that moment, now you can flow forward with it. But if you keep going, yeah, it's not as bad as it could be, it will be. So that's what I wanted to add, Jen.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So, whatever you can do, right, to bring yourself into honestly acknowledging what you feel. And if it's not where you want to be feeling, don't be embarrassed about it, or don't try and just ignore it. Just acknowledge it. Say, that's okay that I'm feeling a little sad, right? It's okay. There's a lot of different things happening, and it kind of feels like that's okay. But I know things are getting better. I know I have a lovely family. I know I have so many things to feel so good about in my life. I know there's always so many things to appreciate. And I know I could always shift my feeling and my focus to a better place. And I'm going to do that because it's my energy. It's my energy to move. It's my freedom to focus where I want to focus. And isn't that fun? Doesn't that feel good? And there's no rush in any of this. There's no contest. There's nobody handing out awards or medals. There's nobody building statues. God's source isn't keeping a tally book up in the sky, so, so to speak, right? It's all for us. Yes, tallying it down, right? It's all for us. This is all for us. And in the process of us feeling and flowing more in alignment, guess what's flowing to us and through us more? That God source energy. And guess what's happening? It's expressing more here in this physical environment. Yeah. And isn't that what we want? For us to be comfortable being who we are and to see in us being who we are, how positive that is. Whether you're a mom and you can see how that's flowing so beautifully into your children and maybe into their friends or teachers or those things, or you're a construction worker and you can see it flowing into what you're creating, or you're, in BestLife, or you're a Lyft driver or a doctor or a teacher. It doesn't matter. You could be a neurosurgeon or a scientist. You can flow source energy to anything that feels good to you. It just matters that it feels good to you. And if it feels good, it's right. And isn't that fun? Yeah.
Yeah, it is fun, Jen. And I think that my last sort of thought on this is be gentle with all of it, you know, and even another expansion, be gentle with being gentle.
Mhm.
Right? That's just it's all good. It's all good. Um, there's always things, and there's always new beautiful things to calibrate with, and there's always new beautiful diversity and variety. It's why we came into this physical experience, you guys. So uh, delight in your life, enjoy your life. Don't try to figure out how to make your life better, especially if you're enjoying it. As you're enjoying it, allow that joy to flow, allow that joy to beautifully expand, and watch. You'll create more. There's always more to come, always more to become. Jen, this has been great. I've had some beautiful awarenesses on everything, and thank you guys, and thank you, Jen, and thank you, Source,
Yes,
and
and thank you all. Yeah, thank you, Dave. So much fun and so much more to come. So love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day and know that you are loved, valued, and appreciated for being who you are always. Bye, everyone.